Okay, let's go on to the next topic. And I know that it came from you actually, so we'll stick with it. It's the party season now. They have the party conferences, and we know that very rarely do we have Sikhs getting involved or even visible in the political parties. And I know that you're kind of trying to break that mold, so maybe you can just give us a bit of an insight into what you've been doing, and also your thoughts about Sikh involvement in the mainstream political parties.
It's a broad field. So mainstream political parties, the main thing I have to say is get involved. I don't really care whether you, this is only personally obviously, I don't care whether you are red, blue or yellow, or if you really want to be UKIP, fine, go for UKIP or Green Party or whatever your views are. Go research them, figure out where you stand on the political ladder and vote for them. That's the first step. But the question always is how are you getting involved? Are you just voting every 4 or now it's a fixed term parliament every 5 years? Or are you getting involved by actually getting your views heard as well? So things like the meat plant issue, the first thing I did was pick up the phone and rang my local MP. He knows me by name now. He should know every single constituency by name, or constituent by name, providing you communicate with them. When I write, say, for example, to the Prime Minister's office, first time I wrote, it took me a month to get a reply because they didn't have my details on the system. Now I get 10 days and I get a reply because my name is on the system. I have a communication with these offices. So I think the main thing is, again, is communication.
What's inspired you then to get involved in party politics?
Good question. My dad.
So it seems like your dad's answering the questions here.
Okay, so originally when I got involved, my mum voted Labour all her life, and my dad's voted Liberal all his life. But neither of them, well, my dad kind of had...
Will you come for them?
I'm Conservative.
Well, you know, watching you and listening to you, right? You're a very good role model for women, with the best part, singing, and you've been on the, is it the question time?
Question time.
Yeah? That is excellent, yeah.
Let's hear from your dad. I mean, your daughter's obviously gone on the wrong track. She's joined the Tories.
What is the right track? whether if you're talking politically, whether you're red, blue or green or yellow or whatever, what is the right track? At the end of the day, if you can do seva, and we from Grusicki side, this is what my dad been taught, seva starts from the bottom. You start from the beginning, you work your way up. And how you do your seva is living the truthful life, which again is Grusicki. So whether she's Conservative, whether she's UKIP or whatever, I'm happy. I'll support her. I'm bankrupt. I've got no money now. I'm supporting her everywhere I can, but I will support her. That's the father's side of it. Politically, me and her do have arguments on issues. Politically, we have debates. Sometimes she sees my way, sometimes she sees her way, which is Liberals or Conservative. And at the moment there's coalition, so in our house is peace. So we're happy.
I mean, look at my father, when he used to say, Labour of no vote for him. And he used to drag everybody. I was on the kid, so I couldn't vote, but everybody, Labour no vote for him. And it was almost like a ritual of supporting Labour. But you guys are breaking the mould. I mean, isn't Sikhism naturally a socialist ideology, and therefore shouldn't we be supporting Labour?
I can answer that one. Being a Conservative, no. Okay, the tagline for the Conservatives ever since 2010 has been for hard-working people. Now, look at our morals as a Sikh, or even just as an individual. We work hard, we work day and night. Look around, most people in here either own a business or have run a business or get involved with some kind of business. We are hard-working people. We work from the bottom up. We don't expect anything from the state. My dad's been ill for like 3 years now. He still won't go on the dole. Why? Because he has pride to work and help this country. Exactly. Okay, that's not just a Conservative value. It's a Sikhi value as well. Yeah, so you talk about socialism in Labour. What is socialism? It's nothing. Okay, it's about sharing everything and everyone gets the same. Not necessarily. Okay, Ed Miliband did his speech this week, and he was talking about freezing the gas and electric prices, which, yeah, it sounds good, but it wiped £1 billion off the off the market.
I think we've got Yaniji here, as a learned scholar of Sikhi. Yaniji, can you give us the verdict? Should Sikhs become, is Sikh socialist? Should we support Labour? Should we support the Liberals who sit on the fence all the time? Or should we support the Conservatives, which capitalists, who just support the rich people? I'm thinking of Sacha Sauda, the Guru Nanak Dev as well.
English ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨ ਨਾ ਇਸ old wine in new bottles. That's what it is, okay? ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਪਾਰਟੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ morals ਆ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ more or less ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ same ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ. ਇਸ ਲਈ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ. That's what ਸਾਡੇ ਕਈ ਸਿੱਖ ਭਰਾ ਹੁਣ ਵੱਖਰੀਆਂ ਪਾਰਟੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਓ, ਵੋਟ ਪਾਓ ਤੇ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ 'ਚ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕਰਨ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਹੋਪਫੁਲੀ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਕੁਝ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਨ.
ਗਿਆਨੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਬੜੀ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਤੇ ਖੇਡ ਖੇਡੀ, ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ। ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ?
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੱਚੇ ਸੌਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰੈਫਰੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਸੱਚਾ ਸੌਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਰੇ ਫਿਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਾਰਟੀ 'ਚ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਕੰਸਟੀਚੂਐਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ MP ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ MP ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਅਦੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ। ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਸਟ ਜਨਰਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰਦੇ, ਸਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਨ ਵੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਨਾ। That's what I say ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਲੋਕੀ ਆਉਣ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੰਸਟੀਚੂਐਂਸੀ।
But you would agree that ਸਿੱਖੀ ਇੱਕ ਕਿਸਮ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੇਸੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦਾ because the ਠੋਸੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲ
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਡੈਫੀਨਿਟਲੀ
democratic principles ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਜੀ।
I think Sikhi, there's a bit of socialism, there's a bit of conservatism as well. Sikhi stands for standing on your own 2 feet, ਆਪਣੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਨੀ, ਦਸਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਖਾਣੀ, which is conservatism. But where conservatism lacks is the compassion. ਗਰੀਬਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨੀ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਸੋਚਣਾ. Right? So to me, if you're going to get involved in politics, don't become part of the party machine and say what they say. Introduce Sikhi concept. ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਕਰਨਾ.
You don't have any compassion according to him.
Yeah, I literally just wrote this down as well. When you said the Conservatives for the rich, Liberals sit on the fence, and Labour is socialism, totally wrong. Alright? But for all three parties, for example, okay, Liberals actually have really good morals. If you read their manifesto, their party conference was 2 weeks ago, the votes that they were having as a party were very good. They were talking about racial diversity, how actually as women, as black and minority ethnic people...
And charging students 9,000 when they said they wouldn't get rid of it.
Look, come on, we're living in a time where it's austerity, as the Prime Minister and the Cabinet keep saying, okay? You've got to have trust in someone. Just like us as Sikhs, we have trust in our Guru, that our Guru will take us on the right path, providing we follow Gurbani. The same with politics. We have to have trust that they know the treasury, they know how much money our country has, and they're going to use it in the right way. To be honest, if someone wants an education, I would happily pay £9,000. But that's only me personally.
See, we talked about the financial crisis we've got. How did we get there? It was sheer greed. It was bankers thinking about their next bonus, about house owners who thought of buying a house on an interest-free 100% loan so they can make the money. Where's the Sikhi concept? The Sikhi concept is we know what's right and we know what's wrong. We go, no, you can make money there, but we're not going to do it. There's ethics involved. And what happens with politics is they compromise the truth. And a Sikh honours the truth. He lives by the truth. And that's where Sikhi, to be a Sikh, right, you can't go 100% Labour and you can't go 100% Conservative because they all lack something. And this is an important fact. When our parents and grandparents came to this country, they all voted en masse for Labour Party. The most strict immigration policies in the 1960s were introduced by the Labour Party.
I think that actually, what Baji's point there actually shows how blindly people have been voting. I mean, if you look at the actual values of Sikhs are such, Jagat such, Hem such, and Kursi such, and in all the parties you will find some values which relate to Sikhi and some values that don't. When we talk about greed has got us into this position of austerity, but no one's immune from greed. It wasn't just the Tories, it was people in Labour. In fact, it was mostly the Labour Party that was in government then. And even around the world, even India now has gone through a period where they over-borrowed, and they're now that's why you got the rupee so high, and now they're going to realise now that they're going to have to go through a period of austerity. In terms of the mistakes that I think Sikhs have made, we've always had this thing that Sikh more hona chahiye, Dastar wala more hona chahiye, and what the parties are not looking for that. They want someone who's talented more hove, but if they have a Dastar on the head, then it's a bonus. And we have to understand that psychology. We can't automatically assume that we need to have a representative there. In this election that's coming up, it's going to be the closest fought election ever, and all the predictions are there's going to be another hung parliament, there's going to be another coalition. So now for the first time ever, all three parties are going out and really targeting Sikh vote and all black and ethnic minority vote. And so Sikhs really have a choice here, and they have a really important position in terms of understanding the future of this country. And the other thing is, it's a massive opportunity. I know Sikh Council UK is doing a lot in terms of drafting young people in, and Harsimrat again has done a lot in terms of, especially in the last few weeks where she's been an intern and actually worked with very senior people in the Conservative Party and sat in meetings with the Prime Minister, etc. And we need more people like that, especially from the younger generation, because my generation, even like I'm consider myself older than that, we're probably missed the boat a bit. But if we look ourselves comparing to the Jewish community and everyone else, they're hugely influential. But they don't just go in there and say we need a Jewish MP. They go in, for example, Fabian Hamilton from Leeds. He's one of the most vocal MPs in the Haqq of Sikhs. But he happens to be Jewish, but he'll speak on every community where he thinks it's the right thing to do. And we need more of our community doing things like that. And the other thing is that our community is far too insular. Our community is far too stuck in, for example, in Bradford, far too stuck in just making 6 Gurdwara. In Leeds, we've got 6 Gurdwara. In Huddersfield, and you go into town, up and down the country, Derby, Coventry, everywhere, where there's a sizable Sikh community, they're milking multiple Gurdwara, putting our Gurdwara's resources as a Qawm. We are very, very ameed, and in terms of spirituality, but also in terms of money. But if you look at in terms of projects that Sikhs need doing, which are vital to their community, every person who's active is struggling. And therefore they're constantly asking, whether it's in the media, whether it's on the youth scene or anywhere else. And we really need to think about where we're actually allocating our resources of our community. And we need to think about that. We need to have a structure in terms of where we are going in UK. We're constantly talking about what's happening in Akal Takht, we're talking in other places like that. But essentially, our future generations are going to be living in these countries. And therefore, and Sikhi needs to be more global.
I mean, I want to try and get some of the maybe younger people to say, because I think certainly there is an issue about Sikhs in politics, but there is a broader issue, I think, affecting all communities of young people just being disinterested altogether with parliamentary politics. You know, the number of people voting has gone down. So maybe just some of the youngsters. I mean, are you interested in politics? I mean, have you got
yeah, but it's not much more stuff like
not
football.
your cup of tea, is it?
Football and stuff like
So
that.
you're interested in Arsenal more than politics?
Yeah, probably.
Why is it? Because politicians just appear kind of out of touch with the old men and women, out of touch with that of you? Or
No, it's just, I find it boring.
you find it boring? At school, do they teach you about politics at school?
I do debating sometimes in school, but that's quite interesting, but just I don't find politics it doesn't appeal to me that much.
Now we've got some women up there, young ones. We want to hear from you guys as well. What do you think about politics?
Well, I think because the young generation, they don't want to involve in politics, because I think personally, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਰੋਡਸ ਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, and they're just trying to do like they're just showing off ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀਜ਼ਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹਨਾ, they're trying to do like too much ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ I think ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਅਸਰ ਪੈਂਦਾ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ I think ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਫਾਂਸੀ ਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼, I know ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਰੋਲ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਭਾਇਆ, ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਨਿੱਕੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਧਾ ਚੜਾ ਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ I think ਜਿਹੜੀ young generation ਆ they don't want to come involved in that. So ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ I think parents as well, for me I think ਜੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਬੇਟਾ or ਬੇਟੀ they want to involve in the politics, I might think ਨਹੀਂ, because it's too much for them, because ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਾਂਗੇ they should need to earn a good like reputation and stuff like that.
What is too much? In what sense?
Sense like ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ like ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੁਝ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਈਵਨ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ. ਇਟਸ ਟੂ ਮਚ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ. ਇਵਨ ਮਾਈ ਸਨ ਹੀ ਸਿਟਿੰਗ ਹੀਅਰ ਵਿਦ ਮੀ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, why this is happening. He always ask me questions because now I'm living here and I'm thinking thank God I'm not there, because at the moment it's too much there, because it's too much politics around there, because they just think about their self, not thinking the humans. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਰੀਬ ਆ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਗਰੀਬ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਮੀਰ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਅਮੀਰ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਤੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਆ, the corruption is too much. That's why I think
we'll come back to it, because I mean there are a lot of people here said the politicians are corrupt. They're in for themselves. There's violence in a lot of places, particularly in Indian politics, and that's why it's boring, and that's why young people fall off. So you must be crazy or power hungry to become one.
I think ਜੇ ਇਹ good role model ਬਣਨ even in not in India, ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਚੰਗੇ role model ਬਣਨ. ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ
ਬਹੁਤ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ UK ਦਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ. I mean, why should anybody get involved in politics? It's all corrupt.
Yeah, before you say anything, I don't want your dad answering your you.
My dad will tell me a lot of things,
you independently. I want your voice. I want to hear from you.
Honestly,
it seems to me your dad's putting.
Honestly, no, my dad will say a lot of things and I disagree, and I'll still say what I think. Just like, for example, the Conservative Party conference starts tomorrow morning. My dad did not want me to go, and I kind of said, I'm going.
Stood your ground then?
Not necessarily stood my ground. The way I was brought up was, if I disagree with something my parents do, you don't yell and shout, you don't scream and throw a tantrum, even though sometimes it's the best way to get it done. You have an intellectual debate. Exactly. Okay, you use your brain, you use your words, and you learn to say, so for example, the Conservative Party, when I joined, I literally had to write a 10,000 word page of why I wanted to join the Conservative Party and give it to my dad. And literally, it took me a year to do it, but I did it. Just like when I wanted to take Amrit, I did a similar thing. I literally had to sit down in front of my dad and my mum and say, this is why, this is what I've learned, this is what I've done to prepare myself, etc. But why did I get involved in politics? You talked about it being crazy. It is crazy, seriously. But if you're not involved, how are you ever going to have a say? That's the underlying issue. If you are not involved, if you are forever on the sidelines and you don't have a communication link with politicians, how do you have a say?
But just, I mean, Sakwinda said something earlier on, you know, that there's a lot of corruption there.
There is.
For the money, we have the banking crisis.
Absolutely.
So, and what are people saying, look, we don't want anything to do with politics?
I think, yes, there is corruption, but there's also some goodness in there. Not all politicians are corrupt. Okay? I've worked with a lot of politicians. I know a lot of politicians who actually are in it for the right reasons. I'm not saying they're all like this, but slowly, if we keep saying politicians are corrupt and we keep voting those corrupt people in, then that's fine, we're not going to get anywhere. But if we actually stand by our morals and say, actually, this guy didn't do anything for me. So, for example, the MP for Bradford East at the moment, he doesn't do anything for the Sikhs. I'm sorry to say. Okay, I write him a letter and then I have to write him another letter to remind him even to reply to the first letter. Alright, I'm not going to give any names, hopefully people know who it is, but I'm not going to vote for him next time round. The MP for Bradford West, okay, we all know who that is, okay, has he done anything for the Sikhs? No, and this is where we need to be using our vote tactfully.
Reason we need to get involved in politics is because Guru Nanak Dev Ji told us. When the Siddhs and the Yogis asked Guru Nanak how was the world doing, he condemned them. He said, you're asking me about what the world's doing and you're running away from it. If good people like you run away from the world, then what's going to happen to the world? So good people have to get involved in politics so that we can stop the lies and the mistruths and the corruption. Because who's going to put a stop to it? Good people. And Jagdeep was on about, about greed. Our role model are our gurus. Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh? How much demean is in the name of Guru Nanak in Nikana Sahib? More than most people even dream of. And was he interested? He showed absolutely no interest. His family showed no interest. And the best examples about how to conquer greed are shown by Guru Gobind Singh, when at a young age he threw a golden bracelet into the river. And when his mother sent a servant to show him where he sent it, he took the other one off it and said, there. And he used to say, well, that was just kids not knowing what they were doing. When he was grown up at Hajur Sahib, Emperor Bahadur Shah gave him a hira. And what did he do? He chucked it in the river. And Bahadur Shah thought, he doesn't know how valuable that is. Guru Gobind Singh, who knew everything, knew what Bahadur Shah was thinking. And he said to his Sikh, go into the river, right, and give him his hira back. And he went into the river and came back with even bigger hiras. I said, which one is it? So good people have to get involved in politics, because that's the only way we can bring change.
Okay, we're running out of time. I'm going to give you the last word, and then we'll come round up. Yeah.
What we need to realise is that often people in power, politicians, etc., rely on the apathy of the people, that they're not going to be interested, not going to vote. It's a common saying in India that लोगों को entertainment चाहिए है, लोगों को facility नहीं चाहिए, because लोग cricket के बारे या Bollywood बारे उन्हें interest है, उन्हें नहीं हैगा कि India का हाल किया. And the same way, recently they passed a law, well, they're trying to pass a law in India in terms of criminality of people who are serving as MPs. That if person's got criminal cases against them, that they shouldn't be allowed to stand, because there's, I think it's about 2/3 of the people in the Indian Parliament have criminal cases against them. The UK system is far more clean, but maybe that is superficial, etc. Obviously it's nowhere near as corrupt as in India. But the thing is, if we don't get involved, if the new people don't get involved, that doesn't mean you have to go and canvass for the parties, but that means you just need to have your voice heard. Because essentially, all I see nationally, I see when it comes to people listening to Kirtan, Gurdwara pare hunde hai. When it comes, which is a good thing, हमारी चीज़ नहीं हैगी. When it comes to commenting on internet about issues, लोग उधर लगातार गल्लां करी जाते हैं. When it comes to actually talking about Sikhi to the outside world, there's only probably about a handful of people that लभदे हुंदे. जिहड़ी चीज़ करने वाली है, उथे लोग पहुंचते नहीं हैगे. But everyone's become a commentator, and we've never been a nation of commentators. We've been a nation of doers. जिहड़े लोग करदे हैं, कहनी है ते करनी ते वाले हुंदे हैं. And so we need to realise that we shouldn't have just about 5-10 people in UK who are competent in speaking on levels like Parliament. We shouldn't just have 5-10 people in UK who are confident to go and speak into universities. The fact that 30-40 years down the road, since we've had young people born here, Amritari, we should have hundreds of people. And we need to really look at in terms of the number of people who are actually doing things on the outside world and mixing in with the outside community and being active and being vocal. And politics is just one part of it. And the reality is politics is only dirty if clean people don't go in there.
Just summarise, I think we've had a very useful discussion. We started off by talking about the meat factory processing plant that's going to be built, and I think we had a very good discussion as to the arguments for and against. And I think we've had a good discussion about the importance of getting involved in politics. So sadly this is we've time's up for this week, so hope you enjoyed the programme, and hopefully that the discussion here stimulates and sparks debate